Why has the 2015 Matric learners performed worse than the class of 2014? And do all teachers still recognize and respect the profession as a calling? What contributed to KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape and Limpopo Province's poor performance? And does the basic education's policy on progression serve its intended purpose? What time is it? It is question time. Welcome to Question Time. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The 2015 Matric learners have recorded a 70.7% national pass rate, which is a 5.1% decline from 75.8% in 2014. The Department of Basic Education has attributed the drop to KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo and Eastern Cape's contributing most of the failures. According to the Quality Assurrance Council UMALUSI, the performance of progressed learners accounted for an increase in the failure rate by almost 3.5%. Amid the challenges facing the three worst performing rural provinces, of the country's top 23 performers in last year's results, 7 of them, with 2 from a school for the visually impaired, are all from the Limpopo Province. But is the department doing enough to assist the most disadvantaged provinces and their schools? A reminder that we are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 089-110-4210. Our Twitter handle at Question Time 24. My guest today, Mathanzima Mweli, is the Director General at the Department of Basic Education. Ditaunyane is a Senior Manager at UMALUSI. And joining us from our Durban studios, Dr Nkosinathi Sishi, KwaZulu-Natal Head of Department. Gentlemen, let me welcome you to Question Time. Bab Sishi, we also welcome you as well. Perhaps let me just check with you. Why did not even the department, but why was there a drop?
Well, the literature will confirm that when you introduce changes in an education system, and particularly when you raise standards, the system is bound to take a dip. So the drop was really not unexpected, as the chair of UMALUSI indicated that in large systems such as ours, when you introduce changes, you're bound to experience some dip in the performance of the system.
So are you happy overall?
Well, it's a mixed bag, to use the words of the former Minister of Finance, Minister Trevor Manuel, then to say it's sweet and sour. It's sour in the sense that we dropped in the overall percentage, but it's sweet in the sense that we have achieved the 5 principles that determine the performance of any education system. Access, the numbers are big. We've never had such numbers before. We achieving redress and equity. All these elements that are principles that are embedded even in our constitution have been achieved. Efficiency, progressed learners is linked to efficiency, reducing your repetition and dropout rate. And number 5, quality. We have achieved bachelors that we've never achieved before. What else can we ask for, except for the improvement in the overall pass rate in terms of the percentage?
So should South Africans basically not worry that there's been a drop here?
Well, you can look at it in many ways. First of all, from our perspective as UMALUSI, we are happy with the administration and management of the exams in 2015. And that to us is very important because it speaks directly to our mandate as a quality assurance body. So on the 30th of December, we released a media statement that said, in terms of our own determinations regarding the general administration and management of the exams in 2015, especially in relation to the exams that were administered by the Department of Basic Education, we were happy and that given the evidence that was presented to us as a quality assurance body, we came to a decision that the examinations were credible and that there were no serious or systemic irregularities that could have compromised the integrity of the examinations.
But what are your concerns?
Well, the concern obviously is the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is that the results have dropped. And obviously we would like to see an improvement overall in terms of the performance of learners. However, having said that, we did of course also say that going forward as a quality assurance body, we will also endeavor to try and understand the reasons why there was a drop. However, generally speaking, in terms of the quality of the exams, we did not raise too many issues, except to say that the drop is not necessarily an indication that the quality has dropped as well.
Okay. Now, DG, are you saying that the department believes that this Matric candidates did not perform beyond what they did solely because this was a new system and, you know, this drop was expected? Is that the only reason?
Well, that's a very important question. It's a combination of factors.
Let's look at this other factors.
Chief among many are these three. The increase in the learner numbers without the proportional increase of the resources to support teaching and learning would have put a strain on the system, which was also acknowledged, of course, during standardization by UMALUSI, including provincial education departments.
Yes.
We'll appreciate that our country has been going through a very difficult time, like the rest of the world, the economic meltdown, having to service, the deficit and so on. Every year, provincial departments, including the Department of Basic Education, have got to shed financial resources.
Okay.
That's the second main reason for me. The second one is that if you raise standards, something must give. If you raise your standard and the system keeps going up, it doesn't follow the logic. It means that the pinch of raising the standard is not felt in the system. And the literature confirms that when you raise the standard, you're bound to create an impact.
Okay.
The third reason could be if you deal with complex and vexing issues such as efficiency, those issues are also bound to impact to a certain extent to your system. And the bigger the system, the bigger or the higher the magnitude of the impact. That's why, I mean, you'd look at provinces like KZN, look at provinces like Eastern Cape and Limpopo. That's where the majority of the learners are lying. The impact is felt there.
Okay, hold it there. Let me take a call. Muzi, you are in Peter Marisbeck.
Thank you, sir. How are you, Mpho?
You are welcome. Thank you very much for the call.
And greetings to all the stakeholders at the studio.
Yes.
Yes, one actually want to raise a major concern, especially in our province, KZN. One is disappointed about the dropping of the results.
Yes.
But maybe a few points which one can put as an input, like the issue of accountability, proper monitoring, and weak management systems. Those are the ones which one can say maybe has played a major impact, especially the other one, which is manpower in terms of human resources. I will tend to differ in terms of, as the last speaker spoke now, in terms of the resources. The government has injected a lot of money in terms of education. As the ANC government prioritizes education, it means there's a lot of money injected there. Okay. So I think the department from national to provincial has to prioritize in terms of the issue of monitoring and evaluation and accountability. There's one person who needs to be accountable, especially those who are in charge.
Okay, thanks very much, Muzi. Dr. Sishi, perhaps let me just bring you in there as well, and perhaps you may also tell us why you are second last.
Good evening to you and to your distinguished guests, the Director General and the Communications Head of UMALUSI.
Yeah.
We are privileged to be here to have the opportunity to engage in these discussions. I think it's important that I start by saying our Minister has just released the Matric results, has just released data. At this point in time, we need to pay attention to this data, refine our analysis so that we are able to come up with the very specific reasons for the decline beyond the generalizations that we can make. For me, refining the analysis will mean looking at what is happening in each of our schools, in each of our administrative circuits and wards, right up to districts and even at head offices, looking at support services in the system, looking at those matters. But the second one is the curriculum itself. We've got to appreciate the fact that in South Africa, all our learners either do mathematics or mathematical literacy. This is a huge departure from what used to happen in the past, where you could combine subject, any subject area, and there were no rules that would have suggested that you combine subjects in a particular way. If you had 720 marks, no matter where you got those marks from, in which subject combinations, that was enough. Today, 40% is a minimum requirement for you to pass Matric in a home language. And in a province like KwaZulu-Natal, home language is isiZulu. It means, therefore, learners in KwaZulu-Natal must find the other 40% in the two other subjects in the system. If mathematics or maths literacy is a compulsory combination of subjects, that would mean a province like KwaZulu-Natal with 54% of all learners doing pure mathematics, which is more than 10% above the national average, will always experience a drop if there is poor performance and a higher standard in the mathematics paper.
Dr. Sishi, if just give me the time here. Umama kaThobekile esigodini sakaceza in Ulundi doesn't care what you have just said. She wants to know why her daughter didn't pass. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. I think we're having a delay in response there, but we're going to take a quick break now. When we return, I'll give you the time to respond, Dr. Sishi, and we'll be taking your calls. The number to dial is 089-110-4210. This is question time.
As stories are broken around the world, SABC makes sure you do not miss out. As the stories unfold throughout the day, News at 8 updates all newsworthy stories worldwide. Globally, we are there. Locally, we leave no story untold. Make a date with News at 8 every Saturday and Sunday on SABC News, Africa's news leader.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, Mathanzima Mweli, is the Director General at the Department of Basic Education. Lucky Ditaunyane is a Senior Manager at UMALUSI. And from our Durban studios, Dr Nkosinathi Sishi is the KZN Head of Department at the Department of Education. Now, Dr Sishi, what I was saying was, umama kaThobekile esigodini sakaceze olundi, she actually doesn't care what you've explained, the change of curriculum and all that. That may make sense to a lot of academics and perhaps higher LSMs, but you would also appreciate the fact that you're dealing with a rural province there, whereby you need to talk basic language to this type of person that I'm giving you an example of. Why did my child fail?
We are very happy as the Department of Education in South Africa that we've just ran a Matric examination that has been declared by UMALUSI as having been run with integrity. And therefore the results that we have achieved are a true reflection of the performance of our young people. We congratulate all the provinces and all the learners that have done very well in all the 9 provinces. In the province of KwaZulu-Natal, the analysis would say that in percentage, the province performed at 60.7%. But this is the province that has most learners that passed. This is a province with 98,000 learners that have passed. Over the last number of years, since 2004, more than 1 million learners have passed from the provincial education system and entered the economy. The ordinary citizens of South Africa understands this, accepts this, and also they appreciate the fact that when we introduce in our curriculum subjects like mathematics, and when we encourage our young people to take up these subjects, it's not a popular decision because you are not going to arrive at instant success. It's going to take time for you to achieve the success that you want.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is that most young people in KwaZulu-Natal have access to mathematics than anywhere in the country. And that's through the leadership of the GBE, and that's through the collective effort of all in education. And we are working together with other provinces to making sure that our young people benefit from access to mathematics. Every one of those young people that wrote Matric have either done mathematics or math literacy, and the ordinary citizen at KwaXeza appreciates this because they know that if their children do mathematics, what it means for their opportunities in future. Those who have criticized our education...
Take Simon, who's calling us from KZN. Simon, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon to you too.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I've been an educator for over 21 years. 12 years I've taught in a state school, and this is my 10th year that I've taught in a private school.
Okay.
And I have experiences in both sectors, and I feel the urge to comment on certain aspects of the education system.
Okay.
Firstly, I appreciate the fact that in the state system, with thousands of learners matriculating, it is hard to bridge the gap when setting exam papers, targeting learners who are basically learning in their not in their mother tongue, and then learners who are in well-resourced schools who are learning in their mother tongue. However, I must say that the biggest challenge for matriculants is how do they bridge the gap from grade 12 into a tertiary institution. It is a huge gap, and I feel that the education system is failing our learners in this regard.
Okay, Simon, thank you very much for the call. DJ, your response quickly there.
Well, it's useful to pinpoint exactly what you are saying by saying the education system is failing young people. if from the results of 2015 you've got more young people who've got bachelors, who have written the kind of exam that they've written in 2015, I think many would beg to differ with the caller.
Okay.
I mean, we've received comments from even experts from universities. Professor Sarah Graffett is one of them. Professor Mary McCaff, who was with VETS and now heads an NGO, was interviewed yesterday, and she confirmed that we have raised the cognitive level of our question papers.
All right. The progression policy, have you noted any impact on the results as a result of that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we are on record as having said that the progression policy, or rather the increase in the number of progressed learners, has had some impact in the outcome of the 2015 examinations. However, having said that, I think overall we also need to do some justice in terms of our analysis of the composition of that particular group of learners.
Okay.
Because data has also showed that some of them did very well in the examinations, despite the fact that they might have been labeled otherwise in the past. Okay. And some of them even obtained bachelor passes. 37% of them have passed, and more than 10,000 of them have either obtained a bachelor or a diploma pass.
Okay.
So that is an indication that we also need to start looking at that group with a different pair of eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Charles, you are calling us from around Gauteng province. Quickly, please.
Yeah, please, Mpho, can you ask those two gentlemen, please, without being negative? Can they give us a breakdown of the pass rate of the three races in South Africa, black, white, and Indian? Who has the highest pass rate and who has the lowest pass rate?
Why is that important?
Did you hear me?
Yes, I'm saying, why is it important for us to know that?
Because I want to come with a solution where the problem is between the black teachers and white teachers and Indian teachers.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, DG?
Well, readily I don't have, that data. It's a very important data. It's in our technical report.
Okay.
But what is important is what I alluded to in my opening remarks. There are 5 principles from the Constitution, principles used by UNESCO, principles used by international organizations such as OECD,
okay,
which is access, redress, equity, efficiency, and quality. I have given information to the effect that in terms of these results, you can get the numbers that relate to that.
Okay.
Let me give, for instance, equity, poverty. Our biggest problem in this country is poverty, over and above race. Now, if your poorest number of schools, quintile 1 up to 3, start to perform the same, if not better than your quintile 4 and 5, which is your affluent or rich schools, if you like, then it means that your system is geared in the right direction. You are addressing inequality in an unequal society.
We've run out of time, unfortunately. Dr. Sishi, what can you tell us, going forward this year, what percentage can you commit KZN to very shortly?
KZN and the rest of the sector in education is on an improvement trajectory. Our results are going to improve. But they've got to be understood in the context of the challenges that as South Africans we are faced. As the Director General has indicated, many of our schools are located in the areas where we need to give them more support than we may have done in the past.
All right, Dr. Sishi, unfortunately we have run out of time so badly indeed. I think we will have to revisit this matter with you only. And we really apologize in that regard. Gentlemen, thank you very much for the time. That was Question Time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.